Sometimes in life, people judge you based on your appearance and make assumptions without knowing who you are. For Jasmine Williams, this happened on a Tuesday morning in her own company's parking lot. The Karen who insisted on using the shopping center's parking spot was about to experience the most embarrassing moment of her life. Here's a story of power, privilege, and prejudices colliding. Jasmine Williams was a successful 38-year-old real estate developer and businesswoman. Riverside Plaza was one of the city's most luxurious shopping centers and one of the biggest projects of Jasmine's company, Williams Investments. When she launched this project 5 years ago, many thought a black woman could not complete such a large project. However, Jasmine was accustomed to fighting against prejudices throughout her life, and Riverside Plaza quickly became one of the city's most prestigious commercial centers. That Tuesday morning, Jasmine arrived at the shopping center at 8:30 a.m. as usual. She was preparing to park her car in her designated spot in the special management section. As she slowly guided her compact BMW into the area, a white SUV coming quickly from behind nearly crashed into her. Jasmine reflexively hit the brakes, and when she looked in the rearview mirror, she saw a middle-aged white woman getting out of her car and walking toward her angrily. The woman had platinum blonde hair and sunglasses, and her clothing was expensive and well-maintained. "Hey, that's my spot," the woman shouted before Jasmine's car had fully entered the parking space. Jasmine calmly got out of her car. "Excuse me," she said, trying to understand what the woman meant. "This parking spot," said the woman, pointing to the reserved sign on the ground. "I always park here. Every Tuesday, this is reserved for me." Jasmine looked at the sign on the ground. "Ms. She began, hesitating as she didn't know the woman's name. "Patricia Whitmore," said the woman, pulling out a business card from her purse. "I own Whitmore Beauty Salon on the third floor." "Ms. Whitmore, this parking space is reserved for management," said Jasmine politely. "Look, it says so." Patricia looked at the ground again, then gave Jasmine a once-over. "And you're from management, are you?" she said with doubt and mockery in her voice. "Yes," said Jasmine simply. Look," Patricia cut her off. "I've been a tenant in the shopping center for 5 years. Every Tuesday I have VIP clients at 9 a.m., and I park here. Nobody has said anything until today. Since when do they give special parking spaces to cleaning staff?" Jasmine paused for a moment at the woman's assumption. Patricia had assumed she was cleaning staff the moment she saw she was black. She was no stranger to such prejudices, but each time it was equally disturbing. "Ms. Whitmore," said Jasmine, trying to hide the impatience in her voice, "I am not cleaning staff. I'm—" "Whatever," Patricia interrupted again. "I don't care. This is my spot, and I'm going to park here today. You can find another place for your car, can't you?" A few people nearby had started to watch this argument. A security guard was cautiously approaching. "Ms. Whitmore," said Jasmine, raising her voice slightly, "this is my parking spot. It says, look, reserved, J. Williams." Patricia refused to even look at the ground. "Listen, if it says reserved, that means it's reserved for me. For 5 years, every Tuesday, this has been mine." "What's the problem, ma'am?" asked the security guard, approaching them. "This woman," said Patricia, pointing to Jasmine, "is trying to take my parking spot. I park here every Tuesday. I have VIP clients, and I can't be late for them." The security guard, Tim, looked at Jasmine and immediately recognized her. "Ms. Williams," he said respectfully, "is there a problem?" "Ms. Whitmore wants to use my parking spot," said Jasmine calmly. "I was trying to explain to her that it's not possible." Patricia's face reddened slightly. "Williams," she said, looking at Jasmine. "Are you Jasmine Williams?" "That cleaning lady Williams." Tim looked uncomfortable. "Ms. Whitmore, this is Jasmine Williams, the CEO of Williams Investments and the owner of Riverside Plaza." The expression on Patricia's face changed instantly. A mixture of shock, disbelief, and shame spread across her face. I didn't know," she stammered. "Frankly," said Jasmine, "even if you didn't know me, it's not appropriate to address someone as cleaning lady and to belittle them, Ms. Whitmore. Every employee in this shopping center, regardless of their position, deserves respect." I, I'm sorry," said Patricia, now in a completely different tone. I just didn't want to be late and Jasmine nodded. I understand, but perhaps this is a moment that reminds all of us that we should treat people based on who they are, not how they look. Absolutely, Patricia murmured, her eyes fixed on the ground. Ms. Whitmore, said Jasmine, if you're concerned about your VIP clients, there are special VIP parking spaces at the front of the shopping center. Tim can show you, and you can park there until your next appointment. Thank you, said Patricia, still not raising her eyes. Tim began to guide Patricia away. As the woman walked away in shame, Jasmine parked her car in the spot. These kinds of encounters were part of her life. As a black woman, she constantly had to fight against prejudices. However, each time, she tried to turn these encounters into educational opportunities. After parking her car, Jasmine headed to the elevator to go to her office. Riverside Plaza was a modern structure where every detail had been considered. Jasmine could see the results of her labor and vision with every step. It hadn't been easy to bring this project to life as a black woman on her own. Banks, investors, contractors, they had all initially approached her with skepticism. But Jasmine's determination and intelligence had silenced all the skeptics. In the elevator, Jasmine took out her phone and checked her schedule for the day. She had a board meeting at 9:30 a.m. and then a lunch meeting with a potential tenant. Over the past 5 years, Riverside Plaza had become one of the most sought-after commercial properties in the city, and many luxury brands were waiting in line to open a store there. When Jasmine entered her office on the 10th floor, her assistant Melissa greeted her. Good morning, Miss Williams. The board members are waiting for you in the conference room. Thank you, Melissa, said Jasmine. I had an issue with Ms. Whitmore in the lobby today. She runs a beauty salon on the 3rd floor. Can you schedule an appointment for her at 11:30 for an explanation? Of course, Ms. Williams, said Melissa, making a note on the calendar. Also, Ms. Peterson called you. She wants to expand her store in the shopping center. Jasmine nodded. I'll get back to her. Now bring the meeting notes and let's begin. The meeting went well. Riverside Plaza's financial performance was above expectations, and Jasmine presented the expansion plans for the next phase. The board members, each successful business people in their own field, appreciated Jasmine's vision and leadership. When the meeting ended, Jasmine returned to her office and prepared for her appointment with Ms. Whitmore. Melissa knocked on the door and announced that Patricia Whitmore had arrived. You can show her in, said Jasmine, organizing the files on her desk. Patricia Whitmore entered the office with no trace of her earlier confidence. Her eyes scanned Jasmine's spacious office, looking at the awards and diplomas on the walls. Please sit, Miss Whitmore, said Jasmine, indicating the chair across from her. Ms. Williams, said Patricia, her voice trembling, I really apologize for this morning. My behavior was unacceptable. Jasmine studied Patricia for a moment. The expression of shame and regret on the woman's face was genuine. Perhaps this was an opportunity to educate her and others like her. Ms. Whitmore, said Jasmine, I want to ask you something. When you saw me this morning, why did you immediately assume I was a cleaning person? Patricia shifted uncomfortably. I don't know. I guess I just... Because of my skin color, right? Asked Jasmine, her voice calm but clear. Patricia bowed her head. Yes, I guess so. I'm very sorry. It was very wrong. Ms. Whitmore, I've encountered these kinds of assumptions throughout my entire life, said Jasmine. When I received my master's degree, people assumed I was on a scholarship. When I signed my first major real estate deal, many thought I was just a figurehead. And today, as the owner of the building I built myself, I can still be seen as a cleaning person. Patricia nodded in shame. I'm really very sorry. This is unacceptable. The problem is, Ms. Whitmore, Jasmine continued, these kinds of prejudices can lead to more than just personal discomfort. Think about it. If you had continued to ignore that the parking spot was mine, and if I had handled this encounter differently, maybe your beauty salon's lease wouldn't be renewed. Patricia's eyes widened with fear. I don't want to lose my business. Don't worry, said Jasmine, raising her hand. I don't operate that way. However, you can consider this as a thought experiment. The assumptions we make in our daily interactions can have consequences we're not aware of. You're right, said Patricia, with genuine awareness in her voice. I really should be more careful. Ms. Whitmore, said Jasmine, I want to make you an offer. We're launching a series of workshops on diversity and inclusion at Riverside Plaza. We expect all our tenants and employees to participate. Perhaps you'd like to join as well? Patricia looked up in surprise. Really? Of course I'd like to participate. Great, said Jasmine. And perhaps we can also talk about expanding your beauty salon services. I've heard you're quite successful, and maybe you need more space. A hopeful expression appeared on Patricia's face. That's very kind. Yes, we've been experiencing space constraints lately. Well then, said Jasmine, writing something in a notebook, you can schedule a meeting with Melissa and discuss expansion possibilities. Thank you, Ms. Williams, said Patricia, genuinely grateful. I know I don't deserve this chance. Ms. Whitmore, said Jasmine, smiling, we all make mistakes. What's important is to learn from these mistakes, and I think today, both of us learned a valuable lesson. Patricia stood up and extended her hand. I apologize again and thank you. I'm grateful for your understanding. Jasmine shook Patricia's hand. Good day, Ms. Whitmore. I'll see you at the workshops. After Patricia left the office, Jasmine walked to the window and looked at the view outside. Riverside Plaza was not just a building, it was the embodiment of a vision. And perhaps part of this vision was creating a society where people would treat each other with more respect and understanding. In the following weeks, the diversity and inclusion workshops at Riverside Plaza began. Jasmine opened the first session by sharing her personal experiences. In the hall, all tenants and employees were listening attentively, with Patricia Whitmore sitting in the front row. Throughout my life, said Jasmine, I've encountered countless moments where people judged me solely based on my skin color. However, each encounter, each challenging moment, made me who I am today. And perhaps the most important lesson we all need to learn is to see people as they are, to get to know them before categorizing or stereotyping them. There was understanding and respect in Patricia's eyes. Perhaps that Tuesday morning encounter in the parking lot was not just a conflict, but the beginning of a transformation. After the workshops, Patricia Whitmore's beauty salon expanded its services and began offering products and services catering to more diversity. The salon's new slogan became, beauty in every skin, every hair, every person. And every morning when Jasmine arrived at Riverside Plaza, she thought that being able to comfortably park in the spot bearing her name was not just a luxury, but also a symbol of a long and challenging journey. One day when Jasmine arrived at her parking spot, she saw freshly painted on the ground. Reserved, J. Williams, CEO and founder. Next to it stood a small bouquet of flowers. The note on the bouquet read, Thank you for the lesson you taught me. With respect, P. Whitmore. Jasmine smiled. Sometimes a parking spot dispute could be the beginning of unexpected friendships and valuable lessons, and perhaps the world was changing one person at a time. This story is a powerful reminder of how prejudices can be shattered in an instant, and how people can grow in unexpected ways. Each encounter, each interaction can be an opportunity for learning and growth. If this story moved you, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, turn on notifications, and stay with us for more inspiring stories. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video.